If you pay for Claude, something quietly changed at midnight, and it is worth understanding because the number attached to it tells you more about the real economics of frontier AI than any keynote. As of today, Claude Fable 5 is no longer included in the Pro, Max, Team, or Enterprise subscriptions. It is still there, it still works, but using it now draws from a separate usage credit balance. And the price on that balance is the part everyone should be staring at. Fable 5 now bills at $10 per million input tokens and $50 per million output tokens. Let me put that in context because a number in isolation means nothing. That output rate is double Claude Opus 4.8, which was already the premium tier. It is, as far as I can tell, the highest per token price Anthropic has ever listed for a generally available model. So the flagship creative model didn't just leave the subscription, it came back wearing the most expensive price tag the company has ever printed. Now the easy story here is the cynical one. Big AI company gives you a taste for free, gets you hooked, then yanks it behind a paywall and cranks the price. Classic bait and switch. And I understand the instinct, but I have read the actual statement and I think the cynical story is wrong, or at least it is missing the more interesting truth. Let me make the case for what I think is really going on. Anthropic says the change is temporary and driven by compute capacity. Their words are that Fable will come off subscriptions after July 7th, and they aim to restore it as a standard part of subscriptions as soon as capacity allows. Read that as an engineer, not as a marketer. When a company prices a product at double its own previous premium tier and simultaneously says, please bear with us, this is temporary, that is not the behavior of a company trying to maximize revenue. If they wanted your money, they would keep it in the subscription, keep you happy, and upsell you. You do not apologize for a price you are excited to charge. So what does that combination actually mean? A price that high paired with an apology is not a price. It is a rationing mechanism. When you cannot physically serve all the demand for a product, you have two options. You can queue people, or you can price them out. Anthropic chose to price them out. $50 per million output tokens is not designed to make you buy. It is designed to make you think twice before you do. It is a thermostat on demand, and they turned it all the way up because the room is on fire. And this is the thing I actually want you to take away, because it is bigger than one model. The most capable models on the market right now are capacity constrained, not demand constrained. Sit with that. For 2 years, the entire industry narrative has been about whether anyone would actually pay for this stuff, whether the demand was real. This pricing move is a quiet admission that the demand is not the problem. The compute is the problem. They have more people who want to run the best model than they have chips and power to serve them. That is why the number looks the way it does. Now let me turn the skepticism back on Anthropic for a second, because I try to be fair in both directions. The word temporary is doing a lot of work in that statement, and temporary has no definition. There is no date. Capacity allows is not a commitment, it is a hope. And here is the uncomfortable pattern. When customers demonstrate they will pay a premium price for access, that becomes a data point in every future pricing meeting. Prices that go up under the banner of scarcity have a way of not coming all the way back down when the scarcity eases. So I believe them that it is capacity driven. I am much less confident that the old free and subscription arrangement returns exactly as it was. Watch what happens to that number when the next cluster comes online. That will tell you whether this was rationing or repositioning. What should you actually do about it? This is where I want to be practical, because I know some of you are staring at an Enable Credits button right now. First, do not panic buy credits. The entire point of that price is to make you hesitate. So hesitate. Ask a real question. For the specific thing you use Fable 5 for, is it genuinely 5 times better than a model that costs a fifth as much? For a narrow set of creative and long-form tasks, maybe it is. And if you are a professional whose output depends on it, the math can work. But for the majority of people who were using it just because it was there and free, the honest answer is no. The included models, Sonnet and Opus, did not get worse yesterday. Your workflow does not collapse because the most expensive option moved behind a meter. Second, if you do use it, treat output tokens like the expensive resource they now are. That $50 rate is on output, 5 times the input rate. So the cost lever in your control is how much you ask it to generate. Tighten your prompts. Ask for the section you need, not the entire document you will skim. Stop regenerating 5 variations when one in a targeted edit will do. The people who get burned by usage pricing are almost never the ones running huge inputs. They are the ones who casually ask a $50 per million model to write long over and over without watching the meter. Third, and this is the strategic one, do not build a critical workflow on top of a model the provider has just told you it cannot reliably supply. If your business depends on Fable 5 being cheap and available, this week was a warning shot. Keep a fallback. Know which cheaper model gets you 80% of the way, because availability, not just capability, is now part of the spec. Let me make that $50 number concrete, because abstract token prices fool people. Say you ask Fable 5 to write a 2,000-word article. That is very roughly 3,000 output tokens. Do that 10 times in an afternoon while you iterate, and you are around 30,000 output tokens, which lands in the rough neighborhood of $1.50 plus input. That does not sound scary, but now scale it to a team of 5 doing that all day, every day, and add the long documents, the retries, and the pasted-in context that inflates your input. Suddenly, a tool that felt free is a metered utility with a bill that arrives monthly. The danger of usage pricing is never the single request. It is the aggregate of 100 casual requests you never stop to count. The meter never feels expensive until the invoice does. So here is my verdict. This is not a cash grab, and it is not the end of the world. It is the clearest signal we have gotten that the frontier of AI is currently rationed by physics, by chips and power, not by whether people want it. Anthropic priced Fable 5 to be used sparingly and said so out loud, which is more honest than most of what you will read this week. But temporary is a promise with no date attached, and promises like that are only as good as the next capacity crunch. My advice is simple. Do not pay the scarcity premium out of habit. Pay it only when the task genuinely earns it. Keep a cheaper fallback ready and watch that price the day the next data center switches on. That number, not the press release, is where the truth will be. If this is the kind of breakdown you want, the one that reads the actual statement and does the actual math instead of just reacting to the headline, subscribe. I do this every day. I will see you in the next one.